All right, let's go and get started. Howdy, howdy, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sharkinbear, and welcome back to the channel. I want to go ahead and start out this video by thanking all the support from everyone who's been checking out my videos for the last week or so. It's been immensely incredible to see all the amount of support I've been having, putting out these build guides for you. I've really been enjoying myself coming up with new builds as well as pushing content and hearing from you guys about how much you like these videos and things that you would like to see in the future. That being said, one of the requests I've been seeing a lot recently is for a lot of the new players. A lot of the builds that I'm putting out is mostly for in-game stuff, and I know that there's a fair bit of you who are still new to the game and basically working to unlock all the extra runes and all that sort of jazz. And I already put out a beginner guide that covers maybe like the first 3-ish curse levels of the game, but after that it's kind of what would you do from then on kind of situation. You kind of want to know what should I be tackling, how should I be tackling them, what runes should I be going after, that sort of thing. So that's what this video is going to be. This is going to be like a part 2 to the ultimate beginner's guide I had that came out a couple of days ago. So that being said, if you like the sort of content you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And I actually think that to start off with, we're actually going to start over here on the skill tree tab, because this is probably going to be where you're going to be spending a majority of the first little bit of your hours playing the game, basically trying to fill this out, because overall this is your main objective. This is exactly what I would say is like the core of your gameplay loop. Currently, you're looking to build this out, this general skill tree right here, because once you do, as you can see on the outside, again, this is my fresh save that I started because I'm playing along with you guys, because you know, it's been 3 years since I had to start this game, so a lot of stuff has changed. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the correct info on how I would tackle things, seeing as how I've gone through all this before. It just might be slightly different from there, but your overall goal is that you want to complete this skill tree right here as quick as possible, unlocking these 5 additional runes as well as completing out this tree. Once you have all of this completed, that is when you're going to be able to access the skill trees for the other characters. But before you can do that, you're going to notice that as you're going into these skill trees, a lot of these nodes are going to start to get really fairly expensive. Most of them are going to go from costing minor soulstones to costing a couple of soulstones up here, the major ones. And when you're first starting the game, whenever you start a match, all the way up to Curse, believe tier 3, actually starting at tier 2, you're going to notice that you're still only fighting one Void Lord at a time. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you're going to notice that in most of the encounters, I fight about 4 at the same time, and that's your overall goal and objective, because what we want to do is try to enhance the amount of currency that we're getting every time we fight. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what the best way to do that is and how you're going to achieve making sure that you fight as many titans as possible. So yeah, let's go over to the fight menu and check out the stages, and I'm basically going to walk you through the curse intensities and how that works, and basically what's the best thing for you to do. Alright, so now we're over on the stage menu, and again, this guide is more or less for those of you who are around Curse Tier 3 looking to push into Tier 4. Tier 4 is where things are going to start to get interesting, as far as I feel like that's where you're going to feel like your first big major block. Enemies might feel a little bit tougher, there's a lot of things going on there. So we're going to basically walk through curse intensity real quick, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to jump over to my actual save file real quick. Because I can actually show you what's available in each curse tier and what you're going to be looking for and what to expect whenever you're going into those. So if I go into my fight menu, I'm actually going to go ahead and toggle all of these off right here. Give me 1 second, and I'm actually going to pretend that we are in curse tier 3. Actually, let me mark all these off one more time, because what you notice is over here, and I feel like this might be one of the things that might be slightly different from when I first originally played before. I believe you had to have all these clicked on, but as you see, whenever you're going through each of the curse tiers, it's going to say curse 104, and then you're going to be given a variety of options. They give you a little description of what each little tab does, and it's basically up to you to decide which ones you can deal with, as far as basically challenged modifiers you're going to put in yourself. So as soon as I put on 4 of 4 out of the 5 that are available here, you're going to notice number 1, I have some bonuses now. The bonuses weren't there before, now they are. And that's also going to be where I'm going to be able to do curse intensity 1 on any of these maps. You can even see the curse intensity based off of what they valued these challenges to be marked up as. Some of them actually have like a bonus intensity because they think it's a little bit tougher for you. So if we can move on to Curse Tier 2, just like you had done before whenever you're working through your maps, I only have to click 4 in order to get there, so I'll click this one and this one and this one. Again, you can read the descriptions. These first couple of ones, they really don't mean a lot, and honestly, they are still fairly easy. Curse Tier 3 is where things are actually going to be the most interesting for you. And this is actually what I want to talk about when we talk about our skill tree and making sure that we get enough currency for our characters so that we can unlock new characters as well as fill out the rest of our skill tree. Your skill tree should be priority number 1. It's all right if you want to unlock an additional character for yourself. If you want to try them out, go ahead and do that for yourself. But if you feel like you can hold out and you just really wanted to push content, I would heavily suggest saving up all of your major Soulstones for your skill tree. But at Curse Tier 3, this is where things get interesting. You're going to see here at the bottom, there's actually going to be 2 purple curse intensity challenges for yourself. The first one's called House of the Lords, and the second one is called Council of the Lords. The House of the Lords right here says increases the number of Void Lords that spawn in a match by 1, increases their health by 5%. Basically, what this really translates to is instead of fighting 1 Void Lord at one time, you're still going to be fighting 1 at a time, but as soon as you kill that one, a second one is going to spawn immediately. Both of them are going to be worth the red crystal, the red soulstone right here, and after you kill those 2, you're going to fight some more regular enemies, and then you'll have your blue Void Lords show up. You're going to kill 1, and then the other one's going to spawn right after that one's dead. And that's going to basically be the way that one works. However, if you want them to spawn at the same time, which I would actually heavily suggest, and the only reason why I say that is you can actually get, most of the Void Lords, they're actually going to travel together in a pack. Sometimes one of them kind of straggle behind, but you can actually end up like AoEing them down using a whole bunch of status effects and bringing them down fairly simply. You just gotta be pretty good with your dodges as far as making sure you stay out of any telegraphed attacks, that sort of thing. And that's what Council of the Lords does. It says increase the quantity of the Lords of the Void that will be active simultaneously by 1. So instead of staggering their appearance, which is what House of the Lords does, this actually makes it to where both of the Lords show up at the same time. And you would definitely want to make sure you click these both on at the same time. This will cut down the amount of time that you're going to be spending fighting, because you're going to be fighting at the same time, and ideally probably killing them at the same time as well. Rest of these options, they're kind of fairly standard. Elites now spawn 10% more frequently. Again, you only have to meet the limit of what the curses say. Now, I honestly always have all of these clicked on, and the majority of the reason why I tend to have all these clicked on is because usually, other than like reduced healing, number 1, I like the challenge. Number 2, this will also mean that because there's going to be more enemies on the field or more elites on the field, that's more XP. And more XP gained means faster my character's going to be leveled. So if you're feeling like things are getting pretty dangerous for you, by all means, go ahead and uncheck these and only like click the bare minimum for that curse intensity. But I would most definitely suggest that if you want to level up a little bit faster, to click as many as you can that you can think you do, because that's just going to be more overall objective experience for your character. After that, we're going to move into Curse Tier 4, and that's where you're going to see another purple option. We have 3 options now. House of the Lords and Council of the Lords will add a 3rd Void Lord into the mix, making it 3 total for every fight you do. And then we'll also have Pillars of Despair. Pillars of Despair basically says that every once in a while, a tower is going to basically spawn on the map, and every once in a while, it's going to fire shots, and you'll see a little telegraphed attack. It's going to be a circle on the ground. Just move out of it. In all honesty, most of the time, you're not even going to realize that there's a tower on the map unless you're actively watching your HUD up in the top right, or are you looking on a mini map or something like that? Because honestly, there's going to be so many telegraphed attacks on the ground already that it's not really going to mean much to you. So honestly, this is actually a pretty fantastic curse to have on. But again, I would say the priority is having this House of the Lords. Again, the more Lords that are spawned, the more major Soulstones you're going to be getting whenever they die. So we're already at Curse Tier 3, getting 3 Soulstones per round rather than 1 for every Warlord. Pillars of Despair, I would also toggle that one on. Again, that's just bonus XP. It adds up even more. The bonuses per tier, they don't go add up. Like, what I mean to say is, like, here we are. We hit Curse Tier 5 or 4. Me clicking these isn't adding more bonuses, but again, every time you do stuff like increases the number of elites and stuff like this is going to give you overall bonus experience because elites are worth, you know, a lot more experience. And then finally, over at Curse Tier 5 is where we're going to finally meet the last of the Void Lords that are going to be showing up. So every single round, you'll be fighting 4 Void Lords at the same time. But this time is actually a curse that you're going to want to pay a great deal of attention to if you decide to click this one on. Again, you can actually choose not to click this one. So I would be wary if you use Pillars of Protection, because as you see, it says occasionally a Pillar of Protection will spawn. Enemies receive 20% less damage for each Pillar of Protection currently active. So if you're not, I usually call these shield towers, and you're actually going to hear like an audible cue when they spawn on the map. And there can be multiple spawns on the map, not at one time, but overall, if you're not looking to destroy these towers, it's very easy to lose sight of them and have like 2 or 3 of these towers out. They're definitely priority targets even before your Void Lords, because these towers being up just means that those Void Lords are taking much less damage from you. So if you don't want to have this challenge on, you're more than happy to literally click any of the other challenges you want. After that one, going into Curse Tier 6 and Curse Tier 7, just pushing through these aren't really essential as far as our discussion right now, but I do want to talk about basically how difficult these challenges are for you, what to expect whenever you go into these tiers. So what this sets this apart right here is Void Presence is essentially there'll be like an avatar of death in like a black robe floating above the ground, and he's going to spawn with you as soon as you start the game, and he's always going to be working his way towards you slowly. He moves very slowly, but if you ever like step where he's stepping, as far as like standing right on top of him, you're going to see a purple sigil on the circle on the ground fill up. It's basically a telegraphed attack. If you stay in that, it can essentially kill you if you stay in that. It's basically at this point in the game probably a one-hit kill. But again, it's a very easy thing to deal with as long as you're constantly moving, which is something you're always going to be doing in this game. You will almost never ever deal with this. Like, it's basically a non-issue. I consider this to be like a free curse intensity increase for your character, because this is negligible. Like, there's only ever going to be one version of him. He's always going to be incredibly slow. He's always going to be following you, and you're going to see him coming from a mile away. It's basically watching a slug basically slide across the ground. It's that slow. As far as the overwhelming corruption, now this one can be a little bit more difficult. Again, you could probably get away with choosing other curses for your curse intensity if you so want to get through curse 6. But overwhelming corruption, basically, if you've seen any of my Titan Hunt game modes where I go to take the Void King, before the Void King, there's going to be like a corrupted character, like the corrupted Arcane Weaver or corrupted Paladin. This is basically those guys, except for on a much smaller scale. They're basically an elite version of those guys. So very small character. They hit a little bit harder and they move a little bit faster than your standard elite in your game. But honestly, again, other than seeing that some of their attacks are a little bit bigger than the standard elite you're going to see in the game, they're very also easy to deal with. So I usually click those on as well. Again, I usually click all these on, but, you know, do whatever feels right for you. If you don't want to have the overwhelming corruption, you can totally do that. Most of the times whenever I show my new builds for new characters that come out, I usually show all of the curse intensities active to show you how easy or how reliable a specific build is. But by all means, you do not have to. And then finally on the Curse 7, the only thing that changes here as far as any of the curse intensities, as you can see right here, we have Ethereal Lords. And this one sounds terrible at the start. It basically says Ethereal Lords. Defeated Lords of the Void will now be reborn in an ethereal invulnerable form and continue assisting the Lords until the whole group is eliminated. So one thing about this is essentially it's almost negligible. It could be dangerous depending on how hard you're surviving already, but what essentially this means is that if you have 4 Void Lords and you kill 3 of them and you still have like 1 up, the 3 that are still there, they'll have an ethereal state. They'll basically go invincible. They are dead for all intents and purposes. They are intangible. You cannot hurt them in any way. but I don't believe they move at all. They're pretty much stuck in the position they are in, and they'll just keep on firing telegraphed attacks at you like they would normally do, just waiting for the final Void Lord to die. As soon as the fourth Lord of a group is dead, those Ethereal Lords disappear for the rest of the match. So you don't have to worry about them sticking around for the rest of the encounter. So that's really covering the big parts of the curse intensities and what to cover in each tier and what each thing does. And the whole reason we're talking about what happens in each of the tier is because your main progression is basically going to be rerunning the same maps over and over and over again. And around Curse 5 is actually when you're going to be getting the best and highest amount of Soulstone currency you can be getting. Every round that you kill 4 Void Lords, you're going to be getting 4 red, 4 blue, 4 yellow, 4 green, and 4 purple. And, you know, before you even get to this point, you'll already have the skill tree up. But it's important to make sure that you're basically maximizing the amount of currency you're getting in here, because on top of all of the Soulstone currency, you're also going to be banking all these minerals and these materials, these resources right here on each map. As you go up to each of the curse intensities, you're going to be adding on rare and rare resources that are only found on those maps. You're only going to find the legendary Amber resource in Scorching Valley. You're only going to find Tourmaline on the Caves of Dalzog, and so on and so forth with the Frozen Wastelands and the Dungeons of Despair. You definitely want to try to push through those. Yeah, so that's a little bit discussion on the void tiers. Now we are going to go ahead and talk about what we're going to do with those materials as well as the runes. All right, so I've swapped back to my my fresh save essentially, and we're looking back at the skill tree. And basically, more or less, again, this guide is for around that Curse Tier 3 and Curse Tier 4. And what I would suggest, if you're starting around that time frame, is you're basically going to start understanding your abilities a little bit more, basically picking and choosing abilities that you feel like match with you. Hopefully, one of the things I can suggest is basically if you have any elemental or dot builds with a character, like if you're using Pyromancer, obviously the Pyromancer is going to have a lot of burn synergy and a lot of his abilities. Or if you're using a Legionnaire and you decide to start looking at weapons, the second and third weapon are lightning and a poison weapon, and both of those are pretty solid. The Elementalist is also a pretty good pick, but you're going to start getting familiar with these characters, because overall your first objective is probably to start unlocking the rest of the characters. And you're going to do so in a variety of different ways. So for instance, one of the first things that I did was I got a couple of characters that I liked playing to level 50, and that unlocks the Paladin for you. The Paladin requires to have 5 characters at level 50. It seems a little slow at start, but once you start pushing into Overlord mode on Curse Tier 3 and Curse Tier 4 and pushing Overlord mode as far as you can, I would honestly say keep going until your character dies, because there's actually no negative to your character dying in Overlord mode at all. The only thing you're going to be gaining is experience from that. So if you feel confident in the build that you have and you think it's fairly strong, it's definitely worthwhile to go in there, because as you tackle Overlord mode, that just means you're going to be fighting Void Lords much, much quicker, and that way gaining many more Soul Stones there. And with that being said, one of the things that's going to come naturally is trying to figure out what runes are going to make your runs a little bit easier. So after we filled out this screen, you're going to notice that a lot of these characters you have still won't be able to access these nodes if they're not leveled. You don't get the first skill point for your first ability, which is always going to be your Ascension, until level 20. So after that, we kind of want to pick and choose which characters we level, so that way we have some efficiency in there. And again, even though we have these resources, we still want to start unlocking different weapons for our characters. Like I suggested, the Legionnaire, for instance, has access, some pretty cool weapons. His second weapon's fairly strong, and his third weapon's fairly strong. I haven't unlocked the fourth yet, but for instance, if I were to look at the Houndmasters, you can see right here I have not yet built the Toxic Cannon. And as you can see over here, we have a variety of materials over here, and it'll actually tell you where each of the materials is located. Like for instance, the copper is at Scorching Valley, the emeralds at the Caves of Dalzog, palladium is at the Caves of Dalzog as well, and the mithril is at Whispering Grove. As you're going through each of these maps over here and you're leveling them up to Curse Tier 2, to Curse Tier 3, to Curse Tier 4 and beyond, you're actually going to start seeing extra bonuses tacked on here. The amount of common materials that you have might be getting greater. The uncommon materials also might be greater. The rare materials, so like if we go to Tier 6 here and I click all this on, It now added on extra experience, I believe. Was that what it was? Extra experience, more minor stones, and they actually added on epic minerals as there as well. So that's the bonuses for going into higher things, as well as pushing even further. I do believe you get legendary resources as well as more as XP and even more of those miners, Soulstones. But the thing that's going to make this even easier is the two characters that I'm going to suggest heavily making your first two priority level ups. And those two characters are actually going to be the Legionnaire and the Arcane Weaver. The Legionnaire is actually probably one of the stronger melee characters in the entire game. In my opinion, I really enjoy him. I think specifically his Fangs of Hypernus. I wasn't sold on this weapon. That's my fault. Turns out this weapon is absolutely busted. And his fire weapon over here, which I don't have unlocked yet because I don't have the... Do I have the stuff to make it? Yeah, I don't have the stuff to make it yet. So if I wanted to go this, I need to go to Frozen Wasteland and the Caves of Dalzog to get it. But that being said, he is very easy to use. On the other hand, I'm not such a big fan of Arcane Weaver until you level her up a little bit and then you unlock the fire weapon. I'm not a big fan of the Arcane and the Radiant spells. They are strong, but they're not as strong if you were to focus on like an elemental build, like burn build, which you see has access to a lot of burn type skills. There's also purity type skills as well that you might see for a paladin, and ice skills, and they are also fairly strong. But if you want to make the most efficient work out of this character and basically make it work to your needs, I would heavily suggest unlocking the second weapon, the Ignis Great Staff of Despair, just to make things a little bit easier for yourself as you level them. And the reason why we want to actually get Legionnaire and Arcane Weaver leveled up is because they provide us with two of the best runes in the game if you're going to be looking to farm resources, essentially. So if we go over our skill tree, up here, you'll notice that basically, let me go show you someone else, for instance. The Sentinel. Whenever you see the character up here for the Sentinel, the very first node you get unlock at 20 is going to be your Ascension ability. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of nodes here, and as I fill them out, you can see there's some hidden nodes up here as well that I don't have access to. So if I take this, for instance, right here, and you can see the different amount of currency that it costs. They start off with minor Soulstones, and they start costing major Soulstones. I like to spend my minor Soulstones first. But again, prioritize your character nodes first, and then go back and fill out the rest of it, because these Ascension nodes are very, very important for your character. So if I fill this out, you'll notice that the Fog of War uncovered, and now we have access to this next node. So coming back up to the Legionnaire, you see that I've actually uncovered a little bit. The Fog of War actually stopped right here. I filled out these nodes right here, and then we had access to this rune. Every character will have an Ascension rune, and then or Ascension ability, and then each tier after that is going to unlock a new rune. Each character has a special rune in their skill tree. So the very first rune you're going to have access to with the Legionnaire is War Tank. So I can have this equipped at any point in time I want, as soon as I unlock this through the Legionnaire tree. After I fill out a couple of nodes, here we're going to also unlock the second rune you'll have in the skill tree here for the Legionnaire. And this is actually what we're here for. This is Material Harvest. Whenever you collect a major Soulstone, you also gain random minerals and gems according to the minerals available in the map you are on. So basically all that means is that if I come to the Scorching Valley and I pick up a Soulstone, doesn't matter which color, I am actually going to get a random bit of copper, topaz, platinum, obsidian, or amber. So this is actually super fantastic, because while you're collecting experience, like these materials around the map, you can also just get some passive income and materials just by picking up a Soulstone. So that's pretty cool. And then the other rune we're going to be talking about is actually located in the Arcane Weaver tree. So we'll come down here. And we notice right here, we have the Ascension rune for the Arcane Weaver, Mana Infusion. I leveled this up, and after you open up the first tier of this, we're actually going to be getting Efficient Extraction, which is amazing to pair along with the Material Harvest we just got. As you see, it says it increases the amount of materials collected by 50%. So, and I believe this is from all sources. So this comes from whenever you break a resource node on a map, as well as whenever you collect a Soulstone. You're also going to be getting 50% extra materials from those as well. So as you can see right here, whenever I come on the screen, I'm going to see up here in the versatility section, all these runes cost nothing. They don't cost any runic power in order for you to join. are for you to add on, and you have 3 slots up here. I usually have Weapon, Expert, and Dash Mastery on whenever I'm starting a new save, just for safety's sake. These are the ones that I always feel fit the bill, essentially. Then we have Efficient Extraction and Material Harvest, and those essentially stay on for as long as I need to be gaining materials and I'm farming resources to unlock new weapons and upgrading characters. After that, the next several runes we're going to be looking at are general all-purpose runes. That's what I would consider them. And that's these 3 runes right here: Multicast Mastery, Critical Mastery, and Vulnerable Target. Multicast Mastery is actually going to be one that you're beginning naturally as well whenever you're playing through your Cursed Tiers. And if you're already past Cursed Tier 3, you're already going to have access to Critical Mastery, because this one is actually gained through completing Whispering Grove Cursed Tier 3. So again, this Multicast Mastery, Caves of Dalzog Tier 4, and this one is Tier 3 for this. And Multicast Mastery is essentially whenever you cast a spell, you have a chance to cast another version of that spell at the same time. It's pretty nice. Critical Mastery basically takes 25% of your critical hit chance and adds it to your crit damage, so that way your crit hits actually hit even harder. And the final one here that I have is Vulnerable Target. This is also a pretty general rune that you can equip on any character that you have, because you're never going to go wrong by having critical hit chance on any character. This one is a little bit harder to achieve because it's actually, I believe, located as it's actually the Tier 2 rune in here. So we have the Ascension ability, then we unlock a whole bunch of stuff, then we get access to Pulse of Agony, which is a fantastic rune for bleed builds. So you're just going to get this by default whenever you work through the Houndmaster. And this is basically going to make it to where whenever you're using bleed attacks, your spells are actually going to come up faster and cast faster, because you're basically increasing your cast frequencies of those spells. And then we have Vulnerable Target here, which increases your crit chance by 25%. If I'm just talking about a general build, I usually have all 3 of these on, and you can pretty much go no wrong. If you don't know what runes to equip, you don't have an idea for a build, and you just want to try a character out, you really can't go wrong with Multicast Mastery, Critical Mastery, and Vulnerable Target. After that, you're going to start wanting to maybe look at some flexible runes, as far as like, hey, how can I basically start looking into some build diversity? I'm kind of getting bored with the builds that I have. The couple of ones that you want to write down maybe and probably take note of are Elemental Flow, which is going to be phenomenal for anybody who really likes elemental damage, because essentially this makes it to where all your negative status effects actually deal their damage 100% more often. The duration stays the same, they just deal 100% more damage. Now this one does take some work. As you can see, it is actually located in the Elementalist skill tree, and I'm working on that one myself. I do believe this is a Tier 2 rune. So right here I have Synchrony, which is the first rune that you unlock, which is a fairly decent rune. It's not one that I use a lot of, but it's a fairly decent rune. But after you knock out a couple of nodes in this branch right here, the second rune that's going to unlock in this next section is going to be Elemental Flow. So that's a pretty good strong one to have. Another great rune to have is Unexpected Arsenal. This basically makes it to where, say if I was playing the Legionnaire, Unexpected Arsenal basically makes it to where instead of just getting access to Corrosive Spear and Purging Slam, whenever I roll for a new ability to equip to my character, I will actually see Jupiter Spear, Summon Infantry, Thrust, and Shield Bash thrown in the pool too. And if I were to have this 4th one unlocked, those weapon abilities would be in there as well. You only have access to the abilities that the weapons you currently have unlocked, and that is how that works. That is a fantastic one to have, and that is actually going to be also kind of a grind. This one's going to be located in the Spellblade skill tree. As you see, I actually haven't played the Spellblade yet. I don't even think I have it unlocked on this account just yet. I can unlock it right now. There we go. I unlocked the Spellblade just right there for you. And if we go over to the skill tree, you're going to see that our Spellblade doesn't even have any view of a skill tree, because I've got to get some skill points in him before I'm actually able to see anything. But the Unexpected Arsenal is actually going to be the 3rd rune in a skill tree. So you're going to be playing the Spellblade quite a bit before you're able to get that one. I want to say it takes about 60 levels or so before you get access to that final node. I think it could be a little bit more. I don't want to give you incorrect information, but yeah, it's going to definitely take some farming. Plus, I'm not super keen on the Spellblade. I definitely think it's probably one of the more underwhelming characters in the game. So, yeah, that might be a little bit for you. Another rune you probably want to shoot for as well is the Singular Focus Rune. The Singular Focus Rune is the rune that you see me use a lot in my videos, where it basically allows me to take the same ability over and over again. So if I wanted to, say, use a Necromancer and have archers 6 times in a row on my skill bar, I take Singular Focus, and that allows for me to roll and see and pick skeletal archers multiple times in a row. And this one is actually one you're going to be getting as well naturally through the game as well. If we come over to the map, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it, but this is actually going to be located in the Caves of Dalzog, level 6, I believe. Oh, that doesn't actually show you in here, but it will show you on the rune, I do believe. Yes, Caves of Dalzog, level 6. So as you're going through the tiers, you're just going to find this one naturally, and it's going to open up a lot of build diversity. The last major flexible rune we're going to talk about is a lot of stuff to talk about, but it's this one right here. It's a skill mastery. You're actually going to unlock this fairly early in the game. But the thing about this is that you're not going to really understand what you're unlocking until you click on it and try to equip it. Because you can see right here, through natural play, there are some tabs here that I've managed to unlock for myself, but there's a whole bunch of tabs here that see locked. In order to unlock these, you can click on them to see what the requirements for. So basically what this means, skill mastery, let's say I am playing a Arcane Weaver, and I want to use shadow spells. This character has no shadow spells. Well, if I go over here to this tree, and I click the shadow mastery over here, and then I click shadow, well, I can't use that. If I want to know how to unlock this skill right here, you can see right here, it shows you the requirement. It says complete a match in less than 12 minutes with the Necromancer. It doesn't matter what level, so if you feel like you've beefed up your Necromancer strong enough, you can take this back to a Cursed Tier 1 when everything is super easy, and just try to beat the crap out of that in the quickest time possible. And as long as you beat the objective, you'll have access to this node. Each of these tabs has a certain requirement. I believe the Sentinel tab, beating something in 12 minutes was due to the Sentinel, is what I meant to say. And so, like, if I want to use an Arcane Weaver, for whatever reason, I was like, oh, what if the Arcane Weaver felt like it was using arrows whenever he uses attack? I can click on here, and then I can select up to 5 abilities. And basically, for whatever reason now, my Arcane Weaver now has access to these bow skills in the weapon pool. They're going to be thrown in with the rest of everything else. It definitely makes for some of the greatest build diversity in the game. And again, the only requirement is that if you want to use a certain school of this element, you have to make sure to meet the requirements for, like, completing the different match types with a specific character. If it's showing a question marks, it just means that you haven't unlocked the character yet, and so it's not going to show you the name, but it's pretty much easy to guess which ones are which, more or less. I believe the Chaos, for instance, I believe this is going to be Chaos Walker. So if I were to unlock that, for instance, and go here and select this mastery and hover Chaos, yeah, 12 minutes is Chaos Walker in order to unlock Chaos abilities for whoever wants to use them. So now that we've talked about the skill tree a little bit and what characters I would suggest as far as tackling first to make your lives a little bit easier, and what runes would probably be best for your character to make sure that you're getting the most materials as you possibly can whenever you're doing your runs, the next thing we're going to talk about is basically what you should be doing on a moment-to-moment gameplay whenever you're tackling your curse difficulties and trying to push into harder content. And that is going to basically come back to your characters, their weapons, and what you should be doing with them. The whole reason why we want efficient extractor and material harvest is because realistically the end game for all of your characters is to, number one, unlock them, number two, to start to learn them and unlock all their weapons, see what you feel comfortable with. And the only way we can do that is by gaining all those materials we get for those maps. You're going to get really familiar with those maps. You're going to see what character builds work for you and what characters you don't like, and ways to try to tweak those to make it into Overlord and get them leveled up so you can have more advancement into their skill trees. But all else to say is another big major part of your character is your weapons, because without your weapons you're not going to be able to get very far without your characters. And the main reason is because of the blacksmith. So as you can see here, I still need to get the Toxic Cannon for this character, and then I still need to get the Houndmaster to level 70 in order to unlock the ability to make the Dragonfire Scattergun. If you've seen any of my other gameplay videos, you're essentially going to see that for me, a lot of my weapons show that they have bonuses to them. They're +1, +2, up to +10. I even have some at +15. But what you can see over here at the blacksmith is you have no way to currently upgrade your weapon. And the reason for that is that you do not gain the ability to upgrade any of your weapons until you have actually made and built all 4 of your weapons. So this is going to actually take quite a bit of time for all your characters. Obviously, probably what you would do, same thing I would do, is essentially work on one character at a time. If you don't want to work on one character at a time, by all means work on whatever characters you want. But overall, this is going to be your end goal, is to try to get your characters as strong as they possibly can through their skill tree and through their weapons. And as you're going through these maps, you're going to start making yourself, or you're going to be able to push even harder and harder content, because once you unlock the ability to upgrade your weapons, you're basically going to be able to push the ceiling further as to what you can tackle and how much faster you're going to be tackling that stuff. And then you're going to start unlocking the other characters that you have access to. So for instance, I believe the Necromancer is actually achieved at Cursed Tier, let's see, that's the Death Knight. Let's see character-wise. Let's go over here. Cursed Tier 3. So if you've already made it through Cursed Tier 3, chances are you have access to the Necromancer already. After that, you're going to be looking at the next several characters you can unlock. And you can even like click on them, it'll show you where you can unlock them. So for instance, I don't have the Monkey King right here, but it shows me where I'm going to be unlocking. But the natural progression for unlock order, other than ones that are locked behind specific things like the Paladin, which requires you to have 5 characters at level 50, is the Necromancer opens up at Dungeons of Despair Tier 3. Then we have the Beastmaster at Whispering Grove Tier 4. Then you have your Death Knight, which unlocks at Frozen Wastelands Tier 5. Monkey King opens up at Whispering Grove Tier 6. Myrmidon opens at Frozen Wastelands Tier 6. And then finally the Engineer, which probably will either come second to last, if not the last, is essentially destroying 700 Lords of the Void. You may very well unlock this one before you unlock the rest. It's really up to like how challenging the game is for you, and if you're having any difficulties with it. But again, remember, this game is taking at whatever pace you want, so if you feel more comfortable farming earlier levels and all that sort of jazz, you may actually end up unlocking him much earlier than the Myrmidon and the Monkey King and all that. There's no shame in that. You play it at your own pace, get comfortable with the characters, and learn how that stuff happens. After that, the rest of the characters start being tied behind specific game modes in here. And for the most part, we've really only been talking about going through the Void Fields, which is these 5 standard levels, going through Overlord mode or Endless mode. I know I don't talk a lot about Endless mode. I just feel like Overlord mode is just a better, quicker version of Endless mode, but that's entirely up to preference. It's entirely on you if you want to have slower matches or faster matches. But the other 2 modes we have over here is Unholy Cathedral, and you can't see it yet because we actually have to complete, I believe, the second tier of... No, the Ritual Sin. You only have to complete the first tier of Unholy Cathedral before you have access to Titan Hunt. Titan Hunt is definitely going to be in in-game mode, and if you've seen a lot of my buildies, or a lot of my build videos previously, you'll see this is where I actually go to press into in-game. This is like your true in-game activity, just for more of a challenge purposes and like fighting the Void King, and there is like a narrative, and this is basically where this narrative leads if you want to try to go there for it. Unholy Cathedral is a very unique experience, but I would actually hold off on this until you have most, if not all, the characters you can unlocked at this point in time. And the main reason is a lot of these characters have abilities that are locked on their menus that you might actually have to play them in order to unlock. They'll even show you what the necessary thing is to unlock them. Some of them are locked behind secret achievements. Most of these secret achievement ones are based off holiday events, which I have detailed in my first part of the Ultimate Guide that I had earlier. Some of them are locked behind having a set amount of characters unlocked before you can actually have access to them. But a lot of them you're actually going to see are unlocked through specific things. Like you see Sugar Rush complete a secret achievement as well. I believe that might also be either a Christmas or an Easter one, but if we go to like our achievements and we look at our spells and abilities, you'll see that certain skills are only unlocked after you hit a specific level cap with something or other. So if you want to use like your, what is it called, the skill mastery up here, and you want to use a skill that's unique to a specific character, you will have to first play that character and level them up and gain access to their abilities before you can use it for someone else. But the main reason I'm stating all of this is because Unholy Cathedral is actually kind of a unique beast in the sense you need to have as big of an ability pool as you possibly can, because the way Unholy Cathedral actually works is the sense that whenever you start, you're basically going to level up. You're going to pick up to 6 abilities as you fight titans in basically a different map essentially, and actually whenever you finish a wave, what they're going to do is actually wipe the abilities from you and basically get you to start all over with a different set of abilities, and the abilities that you just used are removed from the ability pool. It's kind of a game mode that kind of gets you to think on your feet and start looking at synergies. It's a very interesting take. It's not a mode that I spend a lot of time in. I did it as much as I needed to unlock the other characters, and then I was pretty much done with this mode. I think some people are fans of it, some people not. It's really up to you. I am not personally of it, but by all means, after you, I would wholeheartedly, once you have access to enough skills as you think you need, this is where you're going to go. And I believe the tier 2 and the tier 3 is where you're going to unlock the Demon Hunter as well as the Cursed Captain. So it does actually require you to actually beat the last 2 difficulties of these 3 difficulties in order to unlock those additional characters. After that, the final 2 characters, which are the Samurai and the Machinist that were added with the 1.0, in order to unlock them, you are also going to need to go into Titan Hunt. The cool thing about the Titan Hunt game mode is I believe these are there are like 5 difficulties with each of these. Let me actually go to my other save real quick so we can look at that. But it said Sigil of Hate and something else. Sigil of Vile, maybe? Let me go back out. That's my fault. I actually clicked on the wrong thing here. Switch save. There we go. And that one. And then we're going to come back in here. And I do believe it was the Sigil of Hate was the first one. If we go to the first one, it's Sigil of Vileness. Okay, let me go back to Curse Intensity. And the Sigil of Wickedness. Okay, so the Machinist is, I believe, is unlocked with Vileness. And the Sigil of Wickedness is your Samurai. And we can actually confirm that if I go to my achievements over here. And I go with that one. Let's see. Let me look down here a little bit further. Purchase Sigil of the Wickedness for the Samurai. And Sigil of the Vileness for the Machinist. So that's exactly how you unlock those characters. So it might be a little bit before you unlock these 2 characters. Definitely going to be a little bit before you unlock these 2 characters. Oh, and we actually missed the Shaman. The Shaman? How's the Shaman unlocked? I don't want to skip out on a character that I didn't tell you about. Sigil of Corruption. Okay, so this one is also part of the Titan Hunt. And this is one that's actually going to be the very first node right here, Sigil of Corruption, with no modifiers or whatever right here. So that is basically what you're going to be working for in the end game. But yeah, that is a little bit more of a guide on what to do after you hit around Cursed Tier 4 and what you should be aiming for, and basically what you moment-to-moment gameplay looks like and your overall objective. As you get comfortable with these characters, as you level them up, you're going to start opening up their skill trees and you're going to start unlocking new runes. It's basically going to open up all of this. But again, I really touched on what I think are the general all-purpose runes and kind of some of the ones that are going to give you a little bit early build diversity. But as you work your way through the skill trees of the other characters, you're going to unlock the rest of these. Because like I said, every single character has 3 of their own runes hidden in their skill tree. So just by natural progression of play, of maxing them out, getting used to these characters, you're going to start to see what runes you get access to. And if there is a specific rune that you're not sure of, or you want to know about, you want more information about, I will always have the wiki linked down in the description below in the video, so you can actually look into these things a little bit further. And if there's a specific rune you want to know more about, you can also see who upgrades or how you unlock that. And I'm sure there's even an interactive skill tree builder that'll allow you to see what this looks like in advance, so that way you can actually see what all it takes to get there. But that being said, I think this is fairly comprehensive. If there's anything I missed or anything I didn't touch on, make sure you let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to describe it as best as possible or help you out, figure out where you're stuck at. If you're having any difficulties with your build, or you need any suggestions as what you should do for your game in order to make it through a specific curse intensity, feel free to reach out to me down in the comments below, and I'll try to see if I can make some suggestions to you or help you out any way I can. That being said, if you like this sort of content and this was very informative, helped you guys out, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. And until next time, you guys take care, and I will catch you all in my next video. Later.